Hi everybody, hope you can hear me okay. So we'll just put a 1 just to make sure that sound's coming through okay. Hi Kimberly, oh thank you Candy. Hi Candy Williams, hi Slim Pickens, hi Carolyn Parish, hi Eric Ramsey, hi Helen Rowley. Hi JD, yeah, sad day. Bit of a mixed feelings really, isn't it? Hi Lisa Rayner, hi GFL. Yeah, very hi Elizabeth, Diane, Johnson. Hi Bridget. Very mixed feelings, isn't it? One hand you've got, well, we think we've got justice for Gannon, and then obviously on the other hand, it doesn't look good for Gannon, does it? We don't know where he is, and the chances of him being found alive are obviously getting slimmer and slimmer. We can only hope that stepmother now starts talking and at least tells everyone where he is, and they can get him back to his parents. But yeah, very mixed emotions today. It just all sort of snowballed. Everything started snowballing a few hours ago. I think it was actually Dad with a phone, a fellow creator, who sort of put it out there this earlier today. He kind of, which was quite ballsy of him to do, because he's putting total faith in his sources that it was correct. And I knew that if it wasn't correct, it was really going to come back and bite him. But it turned out to be true, and all the major news stations started to break it soon after. So, for anybody who doesn't yet know, stepmother has been arrested on suspicion of murder. That's pretty much all we know at the moment. I'll give you an update shortly. The latest from the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. They put the latest out on Twitter. They're not releasing too much information at the moment, but I will also replay the press conference in a minute, because I know some of you may not have seen it, and I sort of quickly got it together so I could stream it to you guys, and I didn't fully take in everything that was said, so I would just like to go over that again. Just to kind of take in everything that was said and know exactly where we are. Hi AJ, yeah, nice to see you too. It is a very sad day. It's one of those things, isn't it? We all suspected, didn't we? I mean, normally I don't like to, to speculate on people. Don't like to jump to conclusions, but the whole time, everything that the stepmom was saying and the way she was acting, it just made it really difficult for a lot of people not to speculate. And, I even played devil's advocate a little while ago and, just said, well, what if she's telling the truth? That she does know that he's coming home and what have you, and he's going to be safe. But it just shows you, doesn't it, that people can just barefaced lie in front of a camera. I know she had her back to the camera, but, when people face prison, or they'll just say anything to get out of it. It's just shocking. The whole behaviour since it's happened has just been shocking. It's just been total self-preservation. There's been no thought at all about Gannon or helping to find Gannon. Yeah, unbelievable amount of lies she told. It was interesting, wasn't it? It was almost like us on social media, we were all coming up with ideas, and I'm sure law enforcement were probably on the same wavelength as us. They probably had putting two and two together like we were, and it just seemed to um, kind of prompt her into creating responses, didn't it? To try and cover herself. I think she knew that she was being found out, and that all became quite evident in the end. So, we all followed our gut instinct, and in this case, it was fully justified. So, what I'll do, I will replay the press conference. It's about 18 minutes long. For those of you who haven't seen it, if you have, and you don't want to watch it again, go and get a cup of tea or something. But I'd like to watch it again. I'd just like to take in everything that was said. So I will play that now, and then we will resume afterwards.
Thank you for coming today. We thank you for your patience as we work diligently to piece together what led to Gannon's disappearance. Our speakers today will be Sheriff Bill Elder, Lieutenant Mitch Mahalko, FBI Denver Division Special Agent in Charge, Dean Phillips, District Attorney Dan May, and Senior Deputy District Attorney Michael Allen. We will not be taking any questions at the conclusion of the press conference. However, I will be reading a statement from Gannon's father, Al. Landon may not speak. Please respect the family's request for privacy as they begin to absorb and process the devastating news they have received today. Sheriff Elder.
Thanks, Jackie. Welcome, everybody. Today marks 5 weeks since the investigation into the disappearance of Gannon Stauch. We're holding the press conference to update you on some significant developments. While we've yet to locate Gannon, this morning, just after 8 o'clock a.m. East Coast time, Letitia Stauch was taken into custody in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina without incident by law enforcement officers from the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, the Denver and Columbia divisions of the FBI, the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina Police Department, the Horry County, South Carolina Police Department, and Sheriff's Office. Letitia will be held without bond in the J. Reuben Long Detention Center in Horry County, South Carolina, where she will remain until she's extradited back to Colorado Springs on the following charges. Charge 1. Murder in the first degree of a child under 12 years of age by a person in a position of trust. Child abuse resulting in death. Tampering with a deceased human body, and tampering with physical evidence. I cannot stress enough what a difficult time this has been for Gannon's family. Like Jackie said, they've provided a written statement, but they will not, and they won't be providing any interviews at this time. And I ask that you protect their privacy. This has been a rapidly developing and highly complex investigation, and it underscores the importance of teamwork in the law enforcement agents in our community. While our hope is always that tragic cases like this never happen, it is precisely why the extremely close relationships we enjoy with our local, state, and national law enforcement partners becomes the most important. The list of people from around the country that have worked many, many long hours and invested themselves so deeply and is long and impressive. I offer my sincere thanks to each and every one of you for all that you've done in the investigative efforts so far. The safety of the citizens of this community is the top priority to all of us standing before you today. We'd like to thank the thousands of members of this community for your compassion, your kindness, and your thoughtfulness, your generosity, and your support while we've taken on the tireless search efforts over the past 5 weeks. On behalf of the Sheriff's Office, all of the investigators, the staff, the volunteers involved in this investigation from all over the United States, we would like to express our deepest sympathies to Gannon's family and friends. There is no way to express the depth of our sympathy, and our hearts break for you. But I make this promise: this team will continue its work. These partners will remain steadfast and diligent until the conclusion and final prosecution of this case. We will not stop, and this investigation has only begun. Letitia's arrest photograph will be made available to the media as soon as we can following the press conference. Jackie will have the details. And now I will turn the microphone over to Lieutenant Mitch Mahalko.
Good afternoon. We will not be going into detail about the information in the investigation which ultimately resulted in the arrest of Letitia. But I can tell you that this has been a methodical and time-consuming multi-state operation with investigators working nearly around the clock to find Gannon. There have been thousands of hours of investigation and search efforts. This includes large-scale searches in addition to small, specific searches with drones, horses, canines, and other resources. While we have not yet found Gannon, information has been developed that is helping us narrow our search. As you can see from the arrest, sadly, we do not believe Gannon is alive. Our work is only just beginning, and you will continue to see many law enforcement officials in El Paso County over the coming weeks and possibly months as we continue our relentless pursuit of justice for Gannon and his family. On behalf of the investigators and staff involved in this investigation, we would like to express our deepest sympathies to the family and the friends of Gannon. The death of a child is something no parent should ever have to endure. This case has not just been an investigation for us. This case has become very personal and will forever remain in our hearts. We will continue to work closely with the 4th Judicial District Attorney's Office, the FBI, and other partners to the conclusion of this investigation. At this time, I'd like to turn this over to FBI Denver Division Special Agent in Charge, Dean Phillips.
Thank you for being here today. On behalf of the men and women of the FBI, all the special agents, investigative analysts, support staff, and our task force officers, we express our deepest condolences to the family, the friends, and the loved ones of Gannon Stauch. To the press, I also ask that you give the family space and time in order to process the information that they're dealing with now. To the community, thank you for your patience and understanding, for your assistance, and for the support you provided to the law enforcement community as we have worked through this investigation. The law enforcement community, I want to recognize in particular the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, the Colorado Springs Police Department, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, our partners, our task force partners in Pueblo, the Pueblo PD, Pueblo County Sheriff's Office, and the Colorado State Patrol. All of these agencies have worked tirelessly and seamlessly together throughout this investigation. Although this is not the outcome for which we had hoped, we continue to work this aggressively, and we will continue to work it through to the end. As far as the FBI is concerned, we brought significant resources to bear, to include agents, special agents, investigative analysts, technical support, evidence response teams, and behavioral analysis unit support. But we are not done. We will be here with our partners to the end. We will continue to help law enforcement and the prosecutors see this to the very end. And know this, when it comes to the loss of a child, the FBI will always bring all available and logical resources to bear to help our law enforcement partners when called. We will answer the call. To the community, I want to tell you that at this point, all the evidence points to Gannon's disappearance being the result of foul play, but we have no reason to believe that there is any information or intelligence indicating a threat to other children in the community. Thank you very much.
This is not the outcome that anybody here wanted. We wish today, as we were standing here, that we had little Gannon with us to be able to present to our community still alive and doing well. Unfortunately, that's not the situation. As you've heard, an arrest warrant was issued for first-degree murder of Gannon in this case. Unfortunately, we've had to get to know the family now as part of our prosecution family, and they'll be with us for the next many months going forward. It's an unfortunate thing that we are here today. I do want to thank all those who've been involved. The FBI has been amazing. John Cronin, who's the special agent in charge here in Colorado Springs, has spent literally his team 24/7 for weeks across this country. We could not have done this without their support. Bill Elder's team has been fabulous in terms of their work, working tirelessly again 24/7 for many weeks, hoping we would find Gannon. Unfortunately, we are not. Colorado Springs Police Department, Kevin Clark, came over, and it's been amazing the work that he has done, which I understand he may even get a special recognition from the FBI in terms of what he's done on this case. My lead prosecutor on this case has been Michael Allen. He will continue to be the lead prosecutor throughout this case. And with that, I'd like to introduce him to fill you in on some of the things we expect going forward.
I want to let everybody know that the affidavit in this case supporting the arrest warrant remains sealed. We do understand why this case has drawn the attention it has from across our community and also across our country. But we want to do everything we can to make sure we achieve justice for Gannon. So we're not going to talk about the facts of the case going forward. We want to make sure that we protect these criminal proceedings. Anytime a child goes missing, it's natural for people to want to help out. And we encourage people, if you have credible tips, to still report those tips to the Sheriff's Department. We are going to continue this investigation. And really, it's a two-pronged investigation at this point, process, I should say. One, we still want to bring Gannon home so that he can have a proper burial and his family can achieve the closure that they need. But we also want to hold the person that we are charging, Letitia Stauch, accountable for what she did in this case. She has been arrested on the following charges: murder in the first degree, child under 12 by a person in position of trust. That is a Class 1 felony and carries a potential penalty of life in prison without parole. The other charges are child abuse resulting in death, tampering with a deceased body, and tampering with physical evidence. The extradition process is where we are now. We will proceed until we get Letitia back here to face formal filing of charges, which will be sometime in the coming days. We do have a team of folks in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina right now, 2 prosecutors from our office, FBI agents, and members of the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. They're collecting evidence even in South Carolina as we speak, and that will continue until they exhaust that effort. I do want to add, too, that all defendants, Letitia included, are innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That will be the case. It's our burden to prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. We are confident that we'll be able to do that. But because we have that burden and we want to protect these proceedings, we won't be commenting again on the facts of this case. Thank you very much.
Really, I'm not in the correct mindset to be even standing up here, but if I had to say one thing, that when he said Gannon is no longer with us, I'd have to say Gannon is with us. After the stories of people from all over the world, he's not only my hero now, he's the world's hero. So I thank the community, the positive support from a state that I've never visited other than 2 or 3 times. I'm astounded by the amount of love that's not come from me. It's came from my boy. And never thought I'd be standing here. It was a nightmare. I've had to put trust in the people I don't know. Today, I got the worst news. and the best news. Obviously, we know what the worst news is, but the best news is that justice will be served. And I'll make sure that justice is served, because my boy did not deserve any of this that has happened to him. So I urge media one more time just to hold off on questions until we know that this person, the stepmom that I even trusted, that she will pay 100% for this heinous thing she done. And I know that that's going to will be done. So I ask you guys, I beg and plead of you, if you've known or if you see this story, all of you have seen this story, please hold that very close to you. Because I want to live this earth knowing that justice was served for my boy. And I know that you've seen pictures, you've seen stories, you've seen my little man. He is truly my hero. And I'm gladly giving that to you guys too, that he can be your hero. I've heard stories of people that have not prayed in years, that have finally fell on their knees to pray. And I know where my son's at, without a shadow of a doubt. So many families have been brought closer together because of this. I know my boy is special, and I've told my people and my family and friends that Gannon has a testimony, that Gannon has a story. He's special. And this is his story. So make that story magnificent, who my child is. And I'm putting my trust into you guys to do that. So thank you for allowing Gannon to be your hero and sharing him with us.
So now I'm going to read a statement from Al, Gannon's dad. In a moment on September 29, 2008, my heart stopped as my baby boy entered this world way too early, weighing only 1 pound, 6 ounces. His infectious smile and constant laughter made an impact on every single person he's ever met. Although I miss the years when he was learning to walk, learning to talk, and he had welcomed his little sissy home from the hospital, I've been looking forward to his teenage years and the fun we had ahead of us as he became a young man. In a moment, on March 2nd, 2020, my heart stopped again with what we have heard up to this point. My little boy is not coming home. We will never play Nintendo again. No more Taco Tuesdays. No more smooth-looking haircuts. No more Big Bubba for Mylena, and no more G-Man for the world. The person who committed this heinous, horrible crime is one that I gave more to anyone else on this planet, and that is a burden that I will carry with me for a very long time. But the God I believe in is the owner and decider of justice and vengeance. Only he can repay. Although I am selfish and want my baby boy here, now and forever, how can I question God for bringing Gannon home to him? Because Gannon believed in God, and I will never stop believing. Thank you to the El Paso County Sheriff's Office and the FBI for the thousands of hours it took to uncover the truth as we know it, and may they stay strong and focused as they move forward. The mugshot for Letitia will be available on our social media platforms as soon as she is formally booked into the Horry County Sheriff's Office detention facility. I do have press packets available for the media, which will be available at the conclusion of the press conference. As Senior District Attorney Michael Allen said, all investigation questions should be directed to the District Attorney's Office. All search effort information will continue to come from the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. Right now, I'd like to take the time to thank the media for your constant coverage and not letting this nation forget Gannon. Our work is not done. Let's continue to work together to find him. Thank you for coming.
Pretty hard to watch that, right, guys? You see the raw emotion of the parents like that. It really hits home, doesn't it? So they made it pretty clear there that they are going to ensure that full justice is served in this case. They're doing their best to protect the integrity of the case. They're obviously still trying to, find Gannon. Hopefully she's going to talk, or somebody's going to talk. Maybe it's her daughter, somebody, if somebody knows something. As soon as we get her mugshot and the arrest, copy of the arrest warrant and the affidavit, we'll, let you guys know, and we'll be going through that. But yeah, it's something we suspected all along. It doesn't make it any easier, does it, when it pans out that way? It was pretty clear that she was lying, all the stuff that she was saying all the way through. God knows what she has done to him. I have no idea. Now, the latest from the Sheriff's Office Twitter page, this was about 45 minutes ago, so just to confirm, March 2nd, 2020, approximately 8:04 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, El Paso County Sheriff's Office detectives, FBI agents, and members from the El Paso County 4th Judicial District Attorney's Office arrested Letitia Stauch. Her date of birth is the 8th of April 1983 in Horry County, South Carolina. Letitia Stauch should be held at the Horry County Jail on the charges of murder in the first degree, child under 12, position of trust, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with a deceased human body, and tampering with physical evidence. She is awaiting extradition hearings before being transported to the El Paso County Jail in Colorado Springs. The investigation into the disappearance of Gannon began on January 27th, when Letitia Stauch, who was Gannon's stepmother, called 911 to report Gannon had not returned from a friend's house. By January 28th, our major crime detectives assumed responsibility over the case and began working hand in hand with multiple partners. By January 30th, the case was upgraded from runaway to missing endangered. So they're still saying to report any tips to law enforcement to the email, which is tips@elpasoco.com, or the tip line number, which is 719-520-6666, which I can put underneath the video. So obviously they are still trying to, obviously locate Gannon and bring him home to his parents so they can have proper closure. It obviously sounds like Gannon is not going to be found alive, which is absolutely an absolute tragedy. As I say, we all suspected it, and it just went on, and it's just been so long. It's just ended in the worst possible way. Now, I did just notice something, that because Crime Online, Letitia's been speaking with Crime Online, hasn't she, the last few days, and she started to try and cover up, more stuff, more lies, basically. But they did release an article just a little while ago today, which has got some quite interesting information on there regarding the investigation and obviously more of her lies. So let's just have a look here. So this was released a bit earlier today. So within days of Gannon's disappearance, El Paso County crime scene team, I'll tell you what, I will move this over here so we can all see it. See, I don't know if you'll be able to read it or not. within days of Gannon's disappearance, the El Paso County crime scene team arrived at his home to collect evidence, which of course we saw that, didn't we? We saw them taking out loads of evidence. They returned several times and were spotted removing items from the residence and carrying items inside. Letitia said that she didn't understand how authorities could call the home a crime scene after they saw Gannon leaving with her on January 27th. Of course, the footage that Roderick, the neighbour, produced completely put a spanner in her works, didn't it? I mean, thank God for that. I mean, that just proves, doesn't it, how important surveillance footage can be, not just for, protecting your own property, but also for something like that, looking out for a neighbour's child or what have you. It just shows the importance, doesn't it? So she is quoted as saying to Crime Online, "How the hell is the house a crime scene if he left and didn't come back with me, supposedly? They are saying there is a crime scene with all this blood in the house, which they let people live in during the supposed crime scene for 7+ days. But then a video shows him leaving with me walking." Letitia was referring to security footage captured by a neighbour, which reportedly showed her leaving at around 10:18 a.m. on January 27th. Of course, she did try saying afterwards that Roderick had got the date wrong. She actually said that in an interview with Crime Online, that he maybe had got his days mixed up, just trying to cloud the whole thing. Letitia claimed that her husband told her about blood found in the home. She denied hurting Gannon and claimed that he would get repetitive nosebleeds that required frequent cleanups. The lies go on. Letitia said Gannon also cut his foot in the garage a few days before he vanished. There are tools, wood and woodworking in the garage, jointers and saws. If there was blood in the garage, it was from doing activities, T said. Al, Gannon's father, allegedly called his wife and asked her why a saucer-sized puddle of blood was found inside Gannon's room, according to what Letitia told Crime Online. So that's a new bit of information. So they've clearly found, I would imagine, a considerable, what they would consider a considerable amount of blood in the home. So basically talking about Al here, I think. He was taken around and shown different places of blood inside the house. There was some in the garage, but there are accidents all the time, nosebleeds. Gannon walked around sometimes with blood on his arm from nosebleeds. So she's trying to make up all these excuses for there being obviously blood at the house, isn't she? Letitia added that her husband told her that Gannon's sock and a bloody 2x4 board were found in the woods near Douglas County. That's interesting. T explained that her family frequently loaded up boards they didn't need from their garage into the pickup truck, leftovers from her husband's woodworking hobby. She claimed that there had been several accidents in the garage which could have easily accounted for a bloodied board. Wow, she's got excuses for everything here, hasn't she? So let me just read that again. So Stauch, or Miss T, she added that her husband told her that Gannon's sock and a bloody 2x4 board were found in the woods near Douglas County. It's the first time I've heard that. When asked how the board would have ended up in the woods, T said that things have flown out of the back of the truck before while she was driving. She said the same thing could have happened to the board or to Gannon's sock. So these items, guys, these items have been found out in the woods near Douglas County. It doesn't specify where. I presume, obviously, law enforcement are looking around that area. I mean, obviously, they're going to be so keen to find Gannon now, aren't they? to at least find his body. So, I mean, they wouldn't have said that they believed, that he had been murdered at the press conference unless they were 100% sure of that. When questioned whether law enforcement specifically told her about the wood or a sock, T said, "Law enforcement have not said one word to me, have not called me." The El Paso County Sheriff's Office has not confirmed the accuracy of Letitia's statements. They indicated during Monday's press conference that they would not be releasing any additional details around the investigation. I remember him saying that, so I don't know how long it's going to be before we hear anything further. Hopefully they're going to release a copy of the affidavit and maybe the arrest warrant. Cromwell tried to reach out to Albert Stauch for clarification, but have been unsuccessful in reaching him. Poor parents are going to be absolutely traumatised now, aren't they? According to the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, Tisha was arrested in Myrtle Beach. She apparently left for South Carolina after getting death threats in Colorado Springs. So just to reiterate her charges, confirmation, she's got murder in the first degree of a child under 12, position of trust, child abuse resulting in death, tampering with a deceased human body, and tampering with physical evidence. So obviously it's going to be their job now to get enough evidence together to make these charges stick. Tisha was being held without bond in Myrtle Beach, awaiting extradition to Colorado Springs. So that's all broke today. Let's just hope, that we get full justice. We get full justice in this case. I mean, they've obviously been collating all this time that we have thought that they have been putting together a case. The amount of times that they've been at the house and the DA visiting the house. What was obviously, what we assumed. They've obviously got substantial physical evidence. Probably got a lot of blood traces and stuff like that. And they've obviously been building up a case against her all the time. She's been talking and she's been putting herself further in it, which is great. So hopefully she's going to continue to talk, and at least she can do right is tell them where Gannon is, because she's obviously took him somewhere, and then has just barefaced lied to everybody. It's just unbelievably how evil some people can be, isn't it? Yeah, like you say there, Manadon, how could someone do such a thing, murder a child, and then continue to lie about that child and make up every excuse in the book? I mean, like we were saying the other week, it was pretty clear, wasn't it? There was no footage of Gannon leaving with a so-called friend to go to his friends on Roderick's cameras or anything like that. And Roderick was adamant that Gannon didn't return with her. She tried to fool us all by saying that shadows and this, that, and the other, and it had been confirmed that it did return. Obviously, it was all lies. She's just been lying, the whole time. Whole time, it's just been a load of lies. So we'll keep you updated on that as soon as we get any, more information. It's going to be interesting just to follow. One, to make sure that, she goes down and justice is served. And two, hopefully they can at least find Gannon and, bring him home for the family and have closure for the parents. I think that's probably more important than, as important as anything, isn't it? So it seems to jump from one tragic case to another. I was a bit sort of thrown off by obviously events today, but you know, I want to get the word out about dear Evelyn Boswell. Of course, she's only 15 months old, and I believe her mother, well, she has also been arrested for lying, for giving false statements, you know, to the police and what have you. So so we're just going to have a little look at Evelyn's case, just to put the word out there, just to put her face out there. So bear with me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to get the picture up that I need. Okay, so this is Evelyn Boswell, 15 months old, little baby, 2 foot 28 pounds. She's got blonde hair, blue eyes. She was last seen wearing, it's quite distinctive, a pink tracksuit, pink shoes, and a bow. Now, I believe that it's a little bit of confusion over the last date she was seen. I've heard December 1st, but I've also heard, I think it was December 10th or 11th. Apparently the child's babysitter has confirmed that she saw her on that date. I mean, this is obviously 2 months ago. Wasn't reported missing until February by the mother, unbelievably. Now, I did hear that they are bringing out new legislation. I think they're going to call it Evelyn's Law. It's to do with if you do not report a child missing, parents within 48 hours, then they're going to massively increase fees and penalties, which is a great, good change to legislation, right? How this little girl has been missing for 2 months, or baby, and not being reported is, just ridiculous, isn't it? It's just unbelievable. So I thought what we could just first watch is just the mother. I think it's always important just to look at and listen to the people, that are directly involved in the case, obviously. Just listen to how the mother talks and, what she's got to say about the whole thing. So just bring up.
She's
This
very
was
sweet. She loves everybody.
an interview that she did, I think it was a few weeks ago, but I'm not sure how many she's done since. This is just one that I picked up on, where she kind of talks about Evelyn and where she thinks she is. So let's just have a look at this and see what we can gather from it. So this is the mother. This is Megan Boswell. She's only 18, very young, very, very young mother.
She's very sweet. She loves everybody. She's never been mean ever, which I'm very thankful for. She's just a really good-hearted baby in general. Like textbook how you want a baby to be, like, has hit every milestone early, you know what I mean? Well, when she was 6 months old, she actually put a bottle on her own and went straight to a sippy cup. She started walking probably around like 10 months. That was kind of hard though, because she's like not like small as in like underfed, you know what I'm saying, but like she was a preemie when she was born. She's like a smaller baby and she kind of had trouble like balancing her weight, but she finally got the hold of it. She's starting to say a lot of words and
Yeah, Tamara Hayes there just saying, is she pregnant again? I believe she is. I believe she is pregnant again. That's what I've heard, and I've heard that through pretty reliable source as well.
What kind of things she likes to do? What kind of is she into any certain TV shows?
Only Baby Shark. We went to Texas to see her dad, Ethan, and she slept the whole way there. Like I had to make her wake up to eat and stuff like that, and that's like a 24-hour drive there.
So let's get into the last time you saw her. Tell me what that time was like and when that was.
Well, actually, I want to talk about that. I've told TBI where to find her in Mendota, My mom took her to a campground and a silver camper, and if they don't go tonight, I'm going to go find her myself. Because I've told them, and they're not really, like, taking it seriously, and if they don't go tonight, like, I will go myself and go get her.
Tell me about the last time, though, that you saw Evelyn. Tell me what you guys did and when that was.
We went to go out to eat, and then my mom came and got her. She was wearing a little hot pink tracksuit with the matching bow and little matching shoes.
And was this December 20, like right after Christmas?
A little bit before Christmas. My mom, like, you can ask her, is a very vindictive, manipulating person, and she basically, like, threatened me the whole time that she was gone.
Do you know who has Evelyn right now?
She dropped her off somewhere in Mendota at a silver camper. But my mom would always say the person, not like people, plural.
So there is a person that has her in Mendota.
They're not taking me seriously, TBI isn't, because I've not fully told them. I've been like, hey, like my mom camped out at Mendota, you want to go check them out, but I've never been like specifically, hey, she's not your silver camper, because my mom did threaten me, like, you know, if I told anybody. I'm not going to get into that, but she did.
So your mom has had Evelyn the whole time? Or the whole time?
Or the person that is in Mendota has had her the whole time.
Tell me why you let your mom take care of her. Did she take her from you that?
So just bear in mind, listening to this, the trouble, I mean, law enforcement have, really not happy with her at all, because they're basically saying every time they speak to her, she's had a completely different story. So, although you watch this and you think, oh yeah, she sounds quite believable. And like somebody said, she doesn't even look worried, does she? But apparently she's told them a whole load of different stories each time. So, who knows how true this is, what she's saying.
Night and
Well, she was just supposed to babysit her because I was going to work.
And then when did you know that something was wrong?
Well, whenever, like, she picked me up Wednesday, and I told her, like, hey, they're doing a press release about the Amber Alert thing, and then she freaked out, and that's why they couldn't find her. Like, nobody talked to her for days until they arrested her. She just kind of, poof, gone. But she kept trying to take me to Mendota, and I kept asking, I was like, are you taking me to Evelyn? And she would never tell me yes or no. And I was like, well, if you're not, I'm just calling somebody from the police station to come and get me, like, I'm not playing these games with you.
And so tell me, the day that you dropped her off with your mom to let her babysit, was there anything off about your mom that day? Did you have any suspicion that she was going to take your child?
No. Well, I called her, and she was just like, oh, she's safe, like, that kind of thing. And then she started threatening me, which, like I said, I'm not going to get into, like, everything she threatened me with, because I'm just not, but...
Obviously now that you believe you know who has her, what do you have to say to them?
To just bring her back. I just want her back, that's all I want. I've been so long without her, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, why didn't you report it missing earlier? Because my mom threatened me, and I just want her back. That's all I can think about is how much I just want her back.
Talk to me about when you had the indication that she was missing and something was seriously wrong.
Just when she left and took off and just didn't answer her phone.
Talk to me about why your dad made that report.
Because he was talking to my mom the night before, and he was like, oh, well, if she doesn't come home, I'm going to call. And she was going on, well, you're going to regret this. Like, I'm going to have to leave and never be able to come back. You will regret this.
Was there a reason that, that you didn't make the call and it was your dad?
Because Mom kept threatening me if I made the call.
Well, you said that you've had some issues with your mom in the past. Was there a reason you decided to let her babysit her that night? I know that, you said that you had
Well,
some
she's
issues.
my mom. I wanted to trust her.
Sheriff Cassidy told the media on Friday, I was there, that you were giving conflicting statements.
Because I wouldn't necessarily, I was trying to protect my mom maybe in hopes, oh, well, she'd just tell them where Evelyn was, but obviously she's not going to.
So now you're coming out and you're saying this is the honest truth, that you know where she is.
I know she has to be in a campground in Mendota with somebody. And Mom told me that they had a silver camper, and that's all she would tell me.
So from what I understand, they have searched this campsite. I'll show you after on Google Maps and stuff. I think they may have took something away from underneath one of the campus there, but they haven't sort of said, as far as I know, they haven't released anything to say that they found anything. So,
are you cooperating as much as you can with TBI and the Sullivan County Sheriff's Department?
I am.
But just tell me, how so are you? constantly on the phone with them, talking to them about the tips, anything like that?
Yeah, and I've looked into stuff online myself, like, people are like circulating pictures around me like, oh, this is Evelyn, you know what I'm saying, and like that kind of thing. But no. And like Saturday, nobody would answer me, and I blew all their phones up.
So,
And every chance they've let me be up there, I have been up there.
and Wednesday will be a week since the Amber Alert went out. Tell me what you're thinking right now.
I just don't know if the person who has her is like maybe scared that they're going to get in trouble. But they won't. They just bring her back.
What are you thinking about her current status right now? Do you think she is okay? Do you think she's being taken care of? And what is your message to authorities right now? To the TBI, Sullivan County, and all of the sheriff's departments and any authority that's working on this case?
Just that if they don't take it seriously, what I just said, I will go find her myself. They've told me before they'll arrest me for tampering with evidence, and I told them on my phone, I was like, I don't care if you arrest me for tampering with evidence. If you go up there, I'm going to deny it.
Do you have a message to the public?
Don't stop until she's back. They need to stop reporting like psychics for one, like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Because that just wastes the TBI's time when they could be actually trying to find my daughter. Instead, people are like, oh, well, this lady did a tarot card reading, like, you know what I mean? I feel like that just takes away from the time of, like, them actually searching for my daughter. I'm just happy that people are coming together to try to find her. Because the main important thing right now is the baby. I'm just happy that people are trying to find her.
Have you been in contact with her father, you think?
Yeah. He's actually trying to get leave approved right now to come up here and try to, help find her.
What is her relationship like with him?
She's only been around him a couple times because from where he was in the Army.
And what is your relationship like with him? Do you keep in contact with him?
Well, yeah, we have a kid together. You know what I mean?
Did you notify him when you knew something was wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have multiple social media profiles is one that we've been getting a lot.
Because I break phones a lot, and I forget the password. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm really bad about remembering passwords. Now I have them all set to one, but, up until that point, I just couldn't remember the password to them. So I'll just make a new one when I got a new phone.
Tell me why you wanted to come out today and speak with us.
Just to talk about Evelyn, and, if TBI doesn't go find her tonight, I'm hell-bent on going myself. And that's the truth, one way or another.
This is a really big case, and a lot of people have a lot of questions surrounding this. Is there any other message that you want to send to anyone?
Well, if you don't have tips for sure, because over 370-some tips have been called in, and they've just not panned out. Like, I appreciate people trying to help, but, also that's wasting, TBI's time, because they have to check out every single lead that's called in.
Obviously it's been a long time since you've seen her. Are you worried about that, about reuniting with her?
No, because I love her. I know she loves me.
And do you think she's been taken care of well in the time that you've missed with her?
I hope she has been.
Tell me what the first things you want to do with her.
I'm just going to hug her and not let her go.
Wow.
They'll have to pry her from my arms. Literally, because I'm just not going to let her go. Probably going to sing Baby Shark to her. And just hug her and not let her go. My favorite thing is, the first time she kissed me, Lord, I cried for over a week, because she would pull my hair, and I would just let her do it, because I love her, and, I didn't want to make her cry or be upset in any way, and she would pull chunks of my hair out, and she was in her walker one night, and, she dropped her sippy cup, and I bent down to pick it up, and I was like, oh, she's going to pull my hair. She pulled my face close to her, and she kissed my cheek, and I just, cried about it for over a week, because I was like, oh, my God, I'm the first person that she's kissed, you know what I'm saying? Just, little stuff like that. I love her to death, and I would hate to have missed out on anything. Especially because of my mom.
And obviously, you told me you talked to your mom a couple of times throughout this. And each time, did she give you any update on Evelyn?
She just told me that she was safe.
So when was the last time you talked to your mom? Physically, just the two of you on the phone, or?
Wednesday, the 19th.
Tell me any details about that conversation.
I mean, she was just going off on me and wanting to go to Mendota, and I kept telling her, I was like, if Evelyn's in Mendota, just take me to her. I will take her up there. We can just end this right now. Let's make this simple. Just give me my child back right now before this gets blown out of proportion. And she would never be like, oh, yeah, I'm taking you. She'd just be like, you don't need to talk to them. I don't want you going up there, and, stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well, if you're not going to take me to her, pull over, and I will have, somebody on Sullivan County's end come get me to go up there and talk to them.
What is your biggest fear right now?
I have a lot of them. Just that I don't know that maybe they won't find her tonight, or maybe they don't find her tomorrow. Maybe it's weeks from now before they find her. The people aren't going to be like, oh well, like I'm not giving her back because I've kept her for 2 months. This is my child now. Well, still, I'm just worried that they're going to be angry about that. You know what I mean?
Right.
She just needs to come home.
Exactly.
She's been away from her mom for long enough.
So, I know there are a ton of social media rumors. So if there's anything that you wanted to set straight that I'm not aware of, I will. This is your
Gypsies are not a cult. They've been asking people if there's like a gypsy ringleader, and we're not like ringleaders. We're not like out here kidnapping babies or anything like that.
So would you describe your family as a gypsy family?
Well, yeah. And like my dad's very proud of that, but he's just mad about all the rumors going around, like trashing them because like we're not a cult, you know what I mean?
And now that your mom is back here, and are getting ready to be back here in Sullivan County, what do you hope comes out of that? Obviously, she and her, I believe is her boyfriend, was arrested.
Well, I doubt she's going to tell the truth, but hopefully she does. For Evelyn's sake. Not even for her sake at this point. Just if she hears this, I hope you tell the truth for her sake. Like that is your grandbaby. It's went on long enough.
So yeah, I don't know what you guys think. Now, since then, she's been arrested on false reporting. I think she may well have actually appeared in court today. I mean, she seems to be, putting it all on the grandmother, doesn't she? Now, just to add to this whole story, the grandmother and her boyfriend aren't exactly a great pair. They've been arrested for theft of a vehicle. I think it was last week. So I don't know what the hell's going on with this case. As I'm still kind of looking into all the ins and outs of it. Now, they have searched a pond area, which, as I understand, the land belongs to the boyfriend of the grandmother. And I will show you where that lake is. They didn't officially say where it was. All they kind of said was that it was in Wilkes County, I think. But I'll bring that up for you in a second. I'm just going to go through some notes that I've got here. So it's the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation who are dealing with it. They say they've received more than 750 tips, but they've still had no confirmed sightings of Evelyn. As I say, the mother has been arrested for giving false reports. Just let you know, I can't see the chat just for the moment, just while I'm reading this. So it's not exactly clear when Evelyn went missing. So the mother, Megan, claims that she last saw her daughter on Boxing Day. She's claimed in the interview there that her mother, the grandmother, came and took the baby. She's claiming that the grandmother was very threatening towards her. I have no idea why that would be and why she'd want to take her grandchild. The child's babysitter has said that she saw Evelyn on December 10th or 11th. And the baby's great-grandfather said that he hadn't seen Evelyn since about a week before Thanksgiving. I think it's in November, isn't it? As I say, the police did search a pond last week. That was 26th of February in Wilkes County, Shepherd's Cross community. Now, as I say, the land, as I understand, belongs to the grandmother's boyfriend's family. So let me show you that. So I've took this from images from media and stuff like that because they didn't officially say where the pond was, but I'm 99% sure that I've located it. So if we just pan out, so it's kind of north of Lomax. We don't want to come out that far. So it's kind of between Lomax and Austin. say, this is in Wilkes County. So let me just bring this up. And it's on the North Lomax Road. Don't know if anybody is familiar with this area. Is there anybody from Wilkes County or Tennessee or anywhere around that area? But basically they have searched this pond here. And they had remote, I think they were using some kind of remote device. Probably similar to other cases that we've seen. And they put a boat out, they had a rope out, but they've said that it was inconclusive, they haven't found anything. I don't know what led them to go to this lake. But as I say, nothing was found. There's just a kind of the mother just sort of didn't struck me as a lot of you were saying in chat as well. You know, she just didn't really seem that fully concerned, did she? So it's going to be interesting to see how her stories pan out, or which one of her stories. As I say, she seems to be making up many stories. And so as I say, they searched the pond, it was inconclusive. And the search was just hours after she was arrested, actually. So the mother, Megan, she's 18. She was arrested for giving conflicting stories, basically. Just going through my notes here. As I say, she wasn't reported for almost 2 months after she vanished. And you know, there's been different timelines. The mother's been telling all sorts of different stories. The stories changed several times. Just sort of a timeline. So it's for February the 18th was when the mother reported Evelyn missing. The court documents show that when police asked her at that time, she said that the child was with her father, whose name's Ethan Perry. Now, of course, we know now that he's in the military. He's in Louisiana. He's on active duty in the military. So straight away she lied. So that's just one of her stories, basically. On February 19th, an Amber Alert was issued for Evelyn. It was a few days after that then that the grandmother, got to get this right, the grandmother and her boyfriend, so it's Angela Boswell, there's a grandmother, William McLeod is her boyfriend. They were arrested for theft of a vehicle, basically. Now let me see if I can get you a couple of pictures of the grandmother and the boyfriend. Okay, so that's the grandmother. Mugshot. And here's the grandmother's boyfriend. So add two shady characters to the mix. It's not great, is it? So the mother's claiming that the grandmother came and took Evelyn, but they have searched the trailer park that she mentioned, and nothing was found as far as I know. So just going back to my notes, they have interviewed the grandmother and the boyfriend. Angela was extradited to Tennessee on the 24th of February. As I say, she claimed that the daughter was taken to Mendota, Virginia, to a campground by the grandmother and her boyfriend. But obviously that hasn't panned out. So, yeah, and I know that she was in court today, so there's going to be more to that story, obviously. As I'm saying, I'm still getting all the facts straight on that case. And then, obviously, when all panned out the way it panned out today, with T. Stauch getting arrested, it kind of threw me a little bit. So, but that's a case that we will be following. Is Evelyn, just a baby, basically a 15-month-old baby. So you've got a mother that's telling all sorts of lies. You've got a couple of dubious characters in the grandmother and her boyfriend, and the father's away on active military duty in Louisiana. So I presume that he's probably going to be coming home at some point. Yeah, and no sign of little Evelyn. So I don't know. It's just what's going on in this world. I saw someone mention it in chat earlier, but Laurie Vallow arrested. 2 children missing, untraced. No one knows where they are. We've got this case now with young Evelyn, little baby. No one knows where she is. And Gannon, we've now got the stepmother arrested, but still nobody knows where Gannon is. I mean, is the world gone mad or what? Is it just me? It's just absolutely nuts, isn't it? It really is. A shocking state of affairs, absolutely. There seems to be an epidemic of evil, crazy people at the moment. So I will. The Zoom numbers are on the screen. If anybody wants to call in, if anybody wants to give their point of view on the state of affairs, or vent, or speak about anything, then you're quite welcome to. I'll just fire it up now. If anyone wants to talk about the stepmother's arrest, or their thoughts on her arrest, or their thoughts on how that case has gone. Do you think they're going to have enough to stick on Letitia, to get full justice in that case? It sounds like they've certainly got quite a lot on her. It sounds like, unfortunately, they don't think that Gannon is going to come home alive. Yeah, what do you think? The way it panned out the way that we thought it was going to. We were all speculating, but as I said, it was, in my mind, it was justified speculation because of everything that she was saying and doing. It just wasn't right at all. And I do wonder if it put a lot of pressure on her. I think all the people on social media, us included, that were speculating and, being web sleuths, if you like, looking at the footage and listening to her stories, I think it probably put a lot of pressure on her because she seemed to have to try and cover everything, didn't she? And who knows, maybe her daughter knows something. Maybe her daughter has spoken out. Could be the case, couldn't it? Yeah, that's right. So Linda Baker's there, just confirming really. Letitia's been charged with first-degree murder of a child in her care under 12, and she's also got three other charges to go along with that, which was child abuse resulting in death, tampering with a deceased body, and tampering with evidence. Those are the charges that they put against her. As I say, they did say in the conference that they're not going to be releasing any details about the investigation, which is understandable. So it'll be interesting to see if they do release a copy of the affidavit or the arrest warrant, because obviously we'd all be keen to have a look at that and see what evidence they've been taking out of the house. They seem to have taken a whole lot of stuff out. So slim pickings a question there. Did law enforcement bring dogs to the home of Gannon? I don't actually know. I haven't seen that mentioned. I don't know if anyone in chat has. I didn't see them bring any dogs to the house. You would think that they would bring the cadaver dogs, wouldn't you, if they believe that something happened to Gannon there at the house. It sounds, obviously it was quite clear early on that the house was a crime scene. That was quite clear, especially with the DA going in there, with them taking out all the evidence. So, I mean, the first thing, most important thing, isn't it, is that they find Gannon. Hopefully, she's gonna spill because that's the only decent thing she can do now is to let them know where Gannon is. To me, looking back, I think the father, you could see in his face, I think he knew something wasn't right. I think he obviously knows Letitia, and you could almost see the fear in his face from their first TV plea and stuff like that. I think he knew that she'd done something. I really do. So Kim Brundage, did they have Gannon House leave? I'm not quite sure what that means. They haven't. There was no confirmation or footage of Gannon. Well, the only time he left was that morning. The footage they had of that surveillance. She tried to lie and say that he came back in the truck, but he didn't. It also came out that she hired a vehicle as well. I don't know if anyone's seen that, but she did hire a vehicle. According to the mileage records, she did about 900 miles, which is for a day is a hell of a lot, right? She's made up all sorts of other lies. So I just hope that they can piece that all together. Let's just hope that they can get full justice for Gannon. I mean, that's what her mother wants, isn't it? I mean, what do you guys think? What do you guys think that she's done to him? Do you think? What do you think? It's horrible to think, isn't it? You don't really want to go there, but she's just such a barefaced liar. Such a barefaced liar. I mean, where would these T support groups go now? I've seen a few of them. Sometimes it's interesting to join these groups and listen to what people are saying and how they are kind of defending her. Where are they going to go now? I think there was also, I think one of her neighbours, Letitia's neighbours, I think they spoke with a fellow creator, I think, and she was saying apparently that Letitia wasn't out actively looking or didn't seem concerned. She was very blasé about the whole thing. Just unbelievable, isn't it, that a parent could do that, just because they're a step parent as well. I don't know. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see where those groups go. I just hope that they don't keep on trying to defend her. I mean, clearly they've got substantial evidence against her, haven't they? You've got Mama Bear there. Mama Bear's insistent that Nicole Kessinger's going down, even though they have absolutely zero criminal charges against her. She's going down. She's got to go down. She's evil. I've actually got a really interesting, I know you guys will find it interesting, I found a fantastic article online regarding Nicole Kessinger and the way that people relate to her and talk about her online. And I spoke to the author of the article. He's happy for me to share it, and he may well even come on to the channel and talk about it as well. But I'm going to be putting that into a video, the article about Nicole Kessinger, which I think you'll all find interesting. And I'm also just going to be doing analysis of Chris Watts's router log, because I've seen a one that's been put out there that has a hell of a lot of assumptions and misinformation in it. So spending 30 years in the IT industry, I can say quite confidently I know exactly what is in that router log and how to interpret it. So, and it's safe to say that there's absolutely nothing in there that proves that Nicole Kessinger was anywhere near that house at all, other than the fact she might have driven by Frederick on the morning. That's all. That's all you can take from it. Plus, there's proof in the discovery that they got the whole mobile phone records for her, from the cell providers. Tells you the towers and everything. Tells you everything. It would have told them everything. Would have told them the towers, the cells, when she was traveling, or if she was traveling. But I'm going to do my analysis of the router logs anyway, and then people can take from that what they want. Anyway, we've got off track. Someone's took me off track. We're not here to talk about Nicole Kessinger or anything like that. So yeah, well, as I say, it's been a mixed emotion day, isn't it? Stauch has been arrested, which is great. It's what we wanted. We all knew she was guilty. Her lies were pretty evident. The way she was acting was pretty evident. But it sounds very much like Gannon's not going to be coming home, which is awful. It's not what any of us wanted. It's not how any of us wanted this case to go. So it's very mixed emotions, isn't it? You can see the raw emotion on the parents at that press conference, and that just kind of brings it all home. I just hope and pray to God that they can find Gannon and bring him home, so that they can have full closure. And let's hope she talks right, because I have absolutely no doubt that she knows exactly where he is, and she knows exactly what happened to him. I think you probably all agree with me on that. And young Evelyn. So I will be putting more information up about Evelyn. This is a case that we'll be following. As I say, I've only started, I was looking into it the last couple of days, and then that all happened today. We're starting this morning regarding, or early this afternoon regarding Stauch. Suddenly all the news broke about her being arrested, and kind of a lot of my plans went out the window. A lot of the information that I was going to put out about Evelyn kind of had to be put on hold, because I knew I wouldn't fit it all in, and I didn't get a chance to research everything. So, but yeah, that will be an information that we will be putting out there, in a case that we'll be following. Yeah, Tammy McPhee, the least he can do is tell where she put him. Absolutely. 100%. Sally Scott there saying, I think her daughter will talk. That's interesting, isn't it? I've heard a couple of people say that. I wonder if the daughter knows what the daughter knows. And a lot of you in chat think that the daughter knows more than what she's saying. So we'll have to wait and see, guys. We'll have to wait and see what information they release, if any. We'll keep our eyes peeled for the affidavit or the arrest warrant or any information that we can find regarding what they have. I mean, they obviously have a substantial forensic case against her, and they want to ensure that they get all those charges to stick on her. So let's put our trust in that they can do that, and that justice is served in that way, and that she gets put away and doesn't get out. Certainly if it's first degree. That's a little bit that what confused me, is that they've gone with the first degree charge, right? Because as far as I understood, first degree is premeditation, right? Does anyone know if that is different for any, if there's any particular states in the US where first degree does not mean premeditated murder? I was surprised at that. I was very surprised that they went with the first degree charge. You know, I mean, that suggests that she planned the whole thing. Yeah, Dorothy. See, I thought first degree. First degree is premeditated murder. You know, it's methodical, it's planned. You know exactly what you're doing. You've thought it out beforehand. You've planned it. You know, it's not a spur of the moment act. It's not an act of emotional rage or anything like that. You know, like Chris Watts, it's premeditation. So I was a little bit confused by that. So I'm going to have to look into that, why they've gone with the first degree charge. Yeah, first degree premeditated in every state, as far as I know. Yeah. Unless they're trying to put the frighteners on her to get her to talk, maybe. Because they need her to keep talking, don't they? Yeah, and of course there's no, they haven't found Gannon, so there's no, obviously, actual physical body. But yeah, so you're all agreeing first degree is pretty much premeditation. I mean, it's top of the tree, isn't it, of offences? I would have thought it would have been second degree at most, but so interesting. I'll have to look into that. I'm gonna have to see why. Well, hopefully we'll find out. Hopefully we'll find out. Yeah, when did she take off to North South Carolina? I'm not sure, because I was confused. There was a couple of reports when it initially came out and started firing across Twitter and everything, was that she was arrested in Florida. And there's even one of the major sort of news stations put on their Twitter that she was arrested in Florida. And then we saw it coming in and it was South Carolina. So, you know, we were like, you know, what's going on? Why is she, you know, I thought, is she on the run? Has she run, you know, fled to Florida? But then it did turn out that it was South Carolina, it was Myrtle Beach, wasn't it? So no, I don't know when she went there. I don't know. I don't know where she's been staying out. Initially, she said she was staying out in a hotel. She was fearing for her life. I think she said she left Colorado Springs because she was getting a lot of death threats. But how she ended up South Carolina, I have no idea. But yeah, that recording of Gannon crying, it almost makes you want to go back over some of the evidence, doesn't it? And you know, the whole thing was weird, wasn't it? I mean, we were saying right from the very beginning how the case was just weird. The whole way that the stories that she was coming out with, you know, about the candle on the carpet, and then she put out this information about bath salts and him having stomach problems and him going to the doctor. And then, of course, she released those videos where she was sort of, you know, saying that, you know, got to make, you've burnt the carpet, basically. We've got to make up for this, and we might have to sell the couch, and it sounded like Gannon was possibly in pain, right? And in one of the videos, it almost sounded like I'm bleeding at the end. It just plays with your mind, doesn't it? It makes you think all sorts of things. Was he hurt at that point? Did she beat him? Did she strike him? Did she go too far? I mean, clearly, it does take rocket science to know that they've clearly found substantial amounts of blood in the house, which all of our stories have tried to cover up. We had the cut foot. Now we've heard that, about nosebleeds and all this kind of stuff. But it really makes you wonder now, doesn't it, where did this blood really come from? What the hell has she done? What the hell has she done to him? We just don't know, do we? We don't know at this point. We just don't know. But it just shows you, people can just, well, we saw it with Watts, didn't we? People can just stand there after doing the most heinous of things and just barefaced lie in your face. Luckily, they're not very good at it. But definitely what done it for her, I mean, obviously they were already, law enforcement were building up significant, case against her. It was quite clear with all the amount of times they went in, taking evidence from the house and what have you. But then I think what absolutely did it for her was Roderick the hero neighbour, and his video proof. I think that completely done it for her, because all of a sudden, there's footage of her taking him out of the house and not coming back with him on a day when, she said that shortly after that he left and went to a friend's house. It just completely contradicted her story. And it almost seemed from that point was when she started to blab all over social media, saying this, that, and the other. But yeah, Dorothy C. saying you were discussing the first interview about her past tense, how she coached her daughter. Yeah, there was that very odd interview where she had her back to the camera. She was telling her daughter almost what to say. Like I say, I don't like to normally speculate, unless you've got proof. But she was doing all the talking anyway, so we were merely speculating on all the stuff that she was saying, and we knew it didn't add up. So, that's why I didn't have too much of a problem going along with what people were saying about her, because it all tied in with everything that she was saying. She was the one that was acting weird. She was the one that was putting out lies and weird information that didn't make sense. It was the only thing that added up. And as it's turned out, everybody was right. It's panned out exactly how everyone thought. She was lying and she was guilty, and that's how it's finished. Obviously, we were all hoping that Gannon was going to be found safe and sound. That's the only part of it that's hard to take, isn't it? That he hasn't been found, and it doesn't sound like he's going to be found alive. Because there's no way law enforcement would say that it's highly probable that he's not going to be alive if they were pretty sure that was the case. So that was heartbreaking to see the parents have to listen to that. I mean, they didn't actually, I don't think they officially announced, did they, that he's pronounced dead. What I got from it was that they said it's very unlikely at this stage now that he is going to be found alive. Hi, Voices. So let's just hope that evil stepmother gets what she deserves and is put in jail for the rest of her life and doesn't get out ever. Oh, that's true. Yeah, one of the charges actually. Yeah, you're right there, Anma Suitus. One of the charges was child abuse resulting in death. So maybe they know something we don't. Possibility. Sherry Bourne saying, "Do you think she may have finally admitted to what she did, and that's why the charges were filed that way?" It's a possibility, isn't it? Maybe. I don't know. It's like 99.5%, isn't it? It's almost like they're telling you that Gannon's not going to be found alive, but they're not actually pronouncing he's dead. Obviously, they can't because they haven't got a body, have they? So let's just hope and pray they find him, guys, and they can return him to the family because that's all they'll want at this stage. I can't think of anything worse than knowing that your child is deceased and not being able to at least have your child's body and be able to to give them a proper funeral and what have you, just to see them one more time even. But we'll have to see how things pan out. Right, I think I've been rattling on long enough, guys. It's sometimes starts to bear a little bit heavy when these sort of things come out. It's it's obviously not the most joyous of things to talk about, is it, when a young child's deceased? So we'll keep an eye out anyway, and we'll let you guys know if we find out anything further regarding her charges or the arrest warrant or affidavit. Whether they're going to release much, I don't know. They've kept things very close to their chest, haven't they? This whole investigation, and you can understand why. It's worked out for them exactly how they wanted. It protects the integrity of the case. It stops. They've managed to keep all the crazy sort of conspiracies and craziness out of the case, haven't they? As much as they could. So, hi, Rupal Thacker. You've just seen the conference, yeah. Yeah, it's not good. Well, mixed news, isn't it? Good news is justice for Gannon in that the stepmother has been arrested and charged with first-degree murder. But it's just so tragic that it sounds 99.59% sure that Gannon's not going to come home alive. Hi, Linda Akers, new subscriber. Nice to see you here. Yeah, did they find him in the house? Now I'm really wondering. Yeah, I really don't know. I really don't know. To me, it sounded like they have no body yet, or they haven't found him yet. But I don't know. They've kept a lot to themselves, haven't they? Which is understandable. So I guess we'll just have to wait and hear. Right. Okay, guys. I am gonna jump off. Yep, Slim Pickings is absolutely right. Hit that like button, please, guys. If you can, it'd be much appreciated. Or the dislike button. Doesn't matter. It's all traffic. It's all goes in the YouTube algorithms, and it lets YouTube know that people are interested in watching you, which always helps. It helps us to, put these missing children's faces out there and stuff. Obviously, the more people that see it, the better. Thank you to Kimberly, Firefly, and True Helper for looking after you in the chat. Thank you to everybody for popping in. Sorry it's not been good news. Don't seem to bring much good news lately. Well, good news in that the stepmother's been arrested, but that's as good as the news gets. So yeah, if we could just have some blue hearts for Gannon, that'd be a nice way to end it. Just some love and support for the family. Strength goes out to them. And let's hope that they can, find the closure that they need and deserve. So, okay, so thank you everyone, and I will speak to you all again soon, I'm sure. So, take care, and I'll speak to you again.